Welcome back to Not Another Sports Show. We have a special guest in the house, our very own Aesia Toliver. So happy to have you back from the Winter Olympics. Yes. We might have missed you a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And so we, of course, had to have you on right away to talk about your experience abroad, covering the Olympics, just being the best reporter in the world and making us all proud. How was it?
It was such a big learning experience for me. There was, incredible, but also I feel like there are moments in your career where you're kind of pushing yourself past your comfort zone. And that was definitely the case for me. So I could say I did it. Maybe I'll get the opportunity to go to LA. We'll see. But yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, manifesting already for the future?
Yes, you have to.
What's something that people don't tell you about covering the Olympics that you didn't know before you got there?
So there's an area called the mix zone. And that is where right after an athlete competes or a team competes, they are required to walk through this mix zone, and they can stop for whichever reporter they want to, or they don't have to stop for any, but they do have to walk through it. It is a big portion of it is first come, first serve. So I would get there like 5 or 6 hours before an event, and I would just sit my butt on the cold, hard concrete to save my place so that I had a good position to interview the athletes. So it's, something that I didn't know going into it, but it's like a very long day because you can't just pop in, interview them, and pop out. Like you got to fight for your spot because there's so many media organizations from across the world trying to get these interviews. So,
and you also were not just doing live shots for us, you were doing it for multiple outlets. Am I right about that?
Yeah, so I did about 30 live shots every night. So I would start around 9 p.m. Italy time, and then I would go through like 1 a.m. And so that means like every 3 to 5 minutes, there's some of the mic flags. We would change the mic flag every single time to match whichever news organization I was talking to across the country. And every 3 to 5 minutes, or sometimes less than that, you'd be switching. And, you have to know the anchors' names, and you have to know, specific athletes to certain regions because they want you to really focus on them. And so it took a lot of research for sure. And you have to kind of know, as you know, obviously as a sports girly, that you have to know a little bit about everything.
I am just impressed because I couldn't imagine talking to us doing live shots, then doing it for other stations that you don't even have that chemistry with or don't even know them. To just do that, rinse and repeat every single day. I cannot even imagine what your schedule was like. Can you walk us through what time your day started and what time your day ended?
So I would wake up, it would depend. So sometimes there were media opportunities at like 6:30 in the morning. So, I'm not getting back from the previous night's live shots until about 1:30, 2 a.m. Sometimes the metro would be closed because it's too late. So I'd have to take a taxi back. But so I'm getting like 4 hours of sleep roughly every night. And then you get up and then I'd have breakfast, go to whatever shoot I needed to go to. And then I was pretty much on my own for a lot of it because I was nightside. And then that's when I turned a lot of those lifestyle content packages that some of you may have seen on air about the industry and about fashion and, all the different historical monuments there and the food, of course. So I would do that during the day. Then I would go back. I would edit those packages. I would shoot and edit everything myself, going back to my MMJ days. Yeah. And then, do a social media video to match that package every time. And then I would maybe get like a few hours to eat or rest. And then I'd be back on the metro to go to the hotel location, which was separate for where we actually stayed, to do the live shots all over again. And then we'd also have 2 CTV shows throughout the day. So I would do like a 3 p.m. CTV show where I would talk about different things too. So it was a lot. It was like about 13, 14-hour days every day. Weekends, we didn't have off. We didn't have live shots, but we were still out there turning content. We were assigned to different sports things or different, lifestyle things. So it was exhausting by the end of it, but obviously very rewarding. So
we talked a lot about work,
yes,
but I know you had time to have some fun too and eat some great food.
Yes.
What was the best meal you ever had?
So there's one that was just like insane because it was a Michelin star chef. I don't know how you say that, but
Can't help you there.
yeah, it was like a Michelin chef meal. It was like 8 courses that I had with former gold medalist Red Gerard for snowboarding and his family. And they have like a 40-person family. And so they did this really lavish meal. And that was delicious. I had some really good like tuna tartare. But my favorite of all time was probably this spaghetti with clams. Oh, look, there's Jeff and I. So I can't remember what I had there. It might have been lasagna.
It looked like lasagna, but it was kind of cut off.
No. That was actually a ravioli.
Ooh.
And that was delicious. Like, honestly, you couldn't go anywhere and get bad pasta because everywhere just like cooks it perfect.
Did you have it every day?
I did for the first week and a half. And then my stomach said, no, ma'am.
But isn't their pasta like better than our pasta here? Because it's like made from scratch, you know?
It is. It was really good. But I will say the pizza, like I can't sit and eat a whole pizza here in America. There, the pizza is so light and it's made with such good ingredients that you can eat so much of it and it doesn't sit heavy in your stomach. I can't explain it. But yeah, so I ate a lot of pizza initially, and then everything was just loaded with cheese. Of course, you'd have aperitivo, which is like you go for a cocktail in the middle of the day and it comes with all these snacks that you don't even have to pay for. So that was always great. Tiramisu, sorbet, gelato.
You're making us all hungry.
I'm saying. I was like, look, the company paying for this food, I'm finna get all of it.
So basically now what you're saying is that you're just eating salads. Just kidding.
No, actually, I actually had to go to the Italian pharmacist and get fiber packets to put in my drinks because, girl, that pasta was doing a number on my stomach and I wasn't getting any like greens.
I'm writing this down to clip this for the teas.
I'm telling you, I'm in there like, how do I fix my stomach? And so I had to look, and it would get all clumpy in the water, and I'd just have to take it to the head every night to make sure my stomach didn't get all
So if you're watching this right now and you have a trip planned to Europe, to Italy, and you're going to be there as long as Aesia,
Yes.
make sure you go hit up the pharmacist to get these fiber packets.
Absolutely.
Because it's
It's
going to
a
be important.
necessity.
It's a necessity.
Yeah.
So in addition to the food, the next thing that everybody wants to know about is the shopping.
Yes.
What did you buy? What did you want to buy, but you couldn't buy?
So my thing going in, I was going to get a designer purse. So they, over there, like Prada and stuff like that is way more affordable than it is here. So at first I went to a lot of vintage shops that had a lot of these really beautiful vintage purses. Like there was a Prada purse I was looking at that's normally thousands of dollars and it was only $600. So I had considered that, but then they had these beautiful markets that imagine almost like a flea market vibe, but everything's really nice. And so it would be nothing to like look down and there'd be like 100 tents full of like jewelry, clothes, shoes, everything, and all at really good prices. So I spent a lot of money at the markets with getting jewelry. I got 2 faux fur coats. I got a purse because I wanted to make sure I got something, it wasn't designer, but it was still Italian leather. And yeah, at some point I was like, I need to buy stuff for other people.
She didn't buy nothing for us, y'all. Don't let her fool you.
Look, it was hard. There was not a lot of space in my suitcase. So I did what I had to do.
What you should have done is brought 2 suitcases and left one kind of empty.
I did. Here's the thing.
Maybe you need some packing cubes or one of them like vacuum seal bags.
And that. I did. That's the only way I fit everything on the way there. So then on the way back, I was like, no. So I had to abandon my snow boots. I had to abandon a pair of snow pants because those were like thicker items. I left a couple big sweaters there so I could fit the new stuff that I bought.
Well, the good news is that you're back in Hampton Roads and it is like 70, 75 outside. So you don't even need those snow boots.
Oh my gosh. I came back at the perfect time because y'all had so much snow.
We did.
I said, oh no.
We did. So I'm glad you brought some brighter weather back with you, I guess. I didn't even ask you about that. What was the weather like in Milan?
It wasn't bad. It was like 40 degrees on a given day. Now, when I first got there, the first week it rained every single day and was cloudy every single day. I was like, oh my gosh, where's the sun? But then it came out and it was really nice. But yeah, it was not nearly, like when I left here, it was like pushing 20 degrees. It was way warmer there.
Well, Aesia, thank you for setting the stage for our conversation today. We'll be back with more from Aesia at the Olympics after the break.
Thank you.
We are back on Not Another Sports Show with our very own celebrity reporter.
You're so dramatic. Why are you so
Aesia
dramatic?
Toliver. You are a superstar. Everyone was watching you cover the Olympics. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I got some messages from anchors in other markets saying they enjoyed our banter.
So see, you're a superstar. Take it in. Take it in.
If I must.
I have under the microscope up here as my topic because you were under the microscope. Everybody could see you. But these athletes were also under the microscope on the biggest stage. You're not just seeing their highs, people winning gold medals, but you're also seeing their lows.
Yes.
You were able to cover just a lot of stories, and they weren't always happy ones.
No.
What was your biggest takeaway from maybe some of those lows that really saw the human side of these athletes?
So I think there were two moments that stood out to me. Both happened to be figure skating, but in different ways, right? So you had Ilya Malinin, who was the heavy gold medal favorite going into the games, right? This kid is called the quad god for the reason that he can do when he does these jumps, he spins 4 times in the air before landing. And a lot of it he's done is historic. No one else has ever done it before. And it was supposed to be essentially a cakewalk for him to take gold. He hadn't lost a competition in years. Then that happens, right? So he comes out, he has a great short program. This is his free skate. And not only does he fall, which obviously, as you can imagine, is major point deduction, it's like he forgot the entire routine. It was like he was making things up. His jumps weren't what they were supposed to be. He obviously didn't hit any of the quads. And everyone was shocked. Everyone was stunned. And we're kind of all like, well, what the world happened? And when he finally decided to talk about it, he said, the pressure got to him. And he said that when he closed his eyes, when he first got on the ice, he just saw all these negative moments from his childhood. And he said he thinks he just, forgot everything and focused on the negative. And I say that to say, here's this man who we know is 100% capable of winning gold. He has the skill set. But what I learned about the Olympics is it's not just about the skill set. It's about your skill set, the timing. There's so many other things that go into winning the Olympics. So it really highlighted the need for people to give these athletes grace because they are humans. You can see he was so hard on himself when he got out. And then there was also Amber Glenn. She cried after her performance because she didn't even fall, to be clear. She actually only did a double loop in the air, which meant no points. So that immediately dropped her down to 13th. And so it's a jump she said she does all the time, but it just shows you can prepare your whole life for a moment and mess it up. And a lot of it comes down to mental health. And you have to think about it's not just Americans watching these athletes at this point. This is the world. Mm-hmm. And they were getting death threats. I remember Amber Glenn said that she's a proud LGBTQ plus, community member. And she said she was getting death threats after she spoke up about some of the things with Trump. So she even left Milan to train outside of the city so that she could just get her mind right and she deleted her social media for, a week or so. Just to give you an idea of how severe it is. And Ilya said he faced some of the same things. So, I know how I get when a viewer says something negative. We see everything, to be clear. We always see it. And it's hard. And I can't imagine getting hundreds of those, right? In a given day, or if you mess up, the pressure that's on your shoulders. So I think it just showed the need for grace and, mental health to be a focus, because sometimes the coaches don't care. People who are watching you, they're on your team until you fail, and then they don't want anything to do with you. So I hope that this really brought to light the need for the proper mental health, therapy and things like that for these athletes as they're getting to these extremely high levels.
I agree. It definitely needs to be a focus because it's been an issue that keeps coming up at every single Olympics. I remember Simone Biles was going through the same thing in the Tokyo Olympics. And so it's just, they need support. They need, we mess up on air every single day. And we just have jobs that the athletes have jobs that's, their highs and lows are seen, our highs and lows are seen. But there are some people whose highs and lows aren't seen, people working in finance, teachers. There are other roles where people maybe never see your lows. They're very hidden. And so you have to remember, like, what if you're under the microscope in every single thing that you do in your job, in your life? And so I like how you mentioned grace. We do need to have more grace for athletes because I am not an Olympian. I do not have what it takes to be an Olympian.
Period. Me
So
either.
as much as it's our job to talk about what happened, you know, maybe their falls, their routines that didn't go as planned. We also have to remember that's a human back there behind the helmet, behind the skate, whatever it is. Like, they are just superhumans at this point.
They really are. And, you know, one of the teammates, I talked to them and said, well, what did you tell Ilya after, you know, we had that bad performance? And he goes, you're still you. Your family's still going to love you. You know, you're still going to go back and have support and different things. You're not defined by this one moment. And you've got to remember that. And shoot, I got to remember that sometimes myself. Like, you talked about mess ups on air. Like, I'll mess up and then I'll mess up again because I'm so busy mad at myself for the initial mess up. And everyone does it. I think that right now we have a lot of keyboard warriors out there that love to put in their opinion, but not even reveal their identity. So I think this has become, you know, a good thing. It's created a lot of support, but also a lot of divisiveness, and, you know, everyone's a critic.
They are. And this didn't happen at the Winter Olympics, Aesia, but literally a couple of days ago at the NFL Combine, there was a prospect at the podium who has a speech impediment. And so at the Combine, they have to go up to the podium and talk to reporters from all around the country. So there are some there who aren't familiar with that athlete, and they're meeting them for the first time. And so people at the podium were laughing at him for stuttering and, you know, just not speaking as well as maybe the average person. And so people were making fun of him online that weren't aware that he had a speech impediment. So basically 2 days ago, he ended up releasing a statement saying, stop the negativity. I've had to stutter my entire life. I have a speech impediment, and I am speaking up on behalf of myself and other athletes who have a speech impediment that are also going through it, and knowing that we still have to speak at the podium, even though we have a stutter, we may have a lisp, we may have certain things that we're dealing with that the average person might not. I am encouraging others to keep speaking up, keep talking, don't hide from the cameras just because you may talk differently than the next person.
You know, and that my brother grew up with a stutter. My uncle still stutters. I think how brave you are to be able to do that. And it makes me disgusted that people, you know, laugh. And one of my dear friends is a delegate, and he talks about his stutter all the time. And he has to give speeches on the floor. He has to do all these things. And there's been so many people that have reached out to him after he's come forward to say, oh my goodness, that made me feel so much better, that I can do these things and can have these big dreams. But it takes that brave person to go forward, and anything worth doing, you know, is going to unfortunately take a little bit of that bravery. But, you know, for the people out there that are making fun, shame on you. That's
exactly
how I feel about it.
That's exactly the feedback he received after posting it. There were athletes, regular people quote tweeting like, I deal with the same thing, like, and people just trying to get in contact with him and just want to be his friend after that. Like, even little kids were like, I have a stutter, like children, like, I have a stutter, and it really encouraged them. And this is a first round pick. Like, he's a projected first round pick that is doing this. So I cannot even wait. Now it's like you have a new fan, and people who maybe didn't know him before, they're like, I like this kid. I want to follow his career because
absolutely
he's so strong and courageous and going to be a role model for so many.
Right.
So,
and while he sits there and he makes his millions, I hope all these haters sitting there and rethinking what they said.
Exactly. We're not done yet. We maybe have talked about the lows here that happened at the Olympics, but Aesia has some sweet moments that she was able to witness as well. We'll have more after the break. You're watching Not Another Sports Show. We've got the lovely Aesia Toliver in the house for this week's episode. She's back in America. Hopefully she's happy to be back.
I am. And everyone's like, no, you're not. I'm like, yes, I am. Y'all, I couldn't do it anymore. I missed my bed and my dogs.
Well, I will say I'm glad that you're back so I can give you like just the side eye.
The eye roll. That's all she ever does, y'all. I walk by her desk and she just, ew. I'm
Ew.
like,
rolls eyes.
Right back at her.
So I did miss that.
It's our love
I
language.
did miss the playful banter. It's a sisterhood. Sisters do that.
Yeah.
Like
me and my sister, I think we get in a fight probably once a week. And then the next day we're over.
It's all love. It's all love. And you saw that
Yes.
at the Olympics.
Right.
You covered figure skating. You were able to see the sisterhood that
Yes.
was at the Olympics. Even people that weren't on Team USA, they were
Yes.
all there for each other.
Ugh, I
I'm
loved
putting
it.
words in your mouth. I want to hear what you saw. through
No,
your
because
eyes.
it was so amazing. Like, this was what I was living for. So there was Team USA, the women's figure skaters. They called themselves the Blade Angels. It was like their sisterhood group, kind of like Victoria's Secret Angels, but better.
That's cute.
Yeah. And so you had Alyssa Liu, who ended up winning gold. You had Amber Glenn, and you also had Isabeau Levito. So that's Amber Glenn right there in that picture, and Alyssa Liu. This is after, I believe, I think the first short program, if I'm not mistaken, but it just shows you how they support one another. And this is after Amber had a horrible, situation happen to her, and she really went through it, bless her heart. But she was still there for her teammate, and the sisterhood that they created, the love that's between all of them, you don't really see that between competitors much anymore. And you certainly didn't see it at the Olympics and figure skating many years ago. Like, it was like they would just give each other the dagger eyes. And so to see that, like, there's space enough for all of us to win, there's space for all of us to be our best and to be friends. And I think that is so refreshing. And I love that the new generation is doing that. This is also a picture. This little girl right here, she's little, I call her. She's so small. She's smaller than me. She was 16. She's from China. This was the moment she found out she won bronze, which she was not expecting to medal at all. And Alyssa went over there and picked up her arms to be like, look, you're, victorious. And it was such a cute moment. And it shows you that it went beyond just Team USA. It went to the other countries. And I saw this many times. I mean, you can just feel the love and support and the sisterhood, and it warmed my heart. That was such a sweet, it was just, one thing about just being in these, in these spotlight places, it's so important what you do and how you treat others. And that really showed me, that we're moving in the right direction, especially with the younger generation. Like, all of these younger girls, they get it. It's not like, oh, well, she's doing this, I don't want to do that, or whatever. It's, oh my God, go girl. Like, I can't do that yet, but you just killed that. And that is what we need.
We do. We need more women that are lifting as they climb.
Yes.
Like, you may be competing against them, but like, you don't need to compare.
Yeah.
Like, compete, but don't compare.
You don't have to be mean. Like, just because that's your competitor, you can still respect one another. And I think that that's, it was just so necessary. It was so necessary. Because it's not you or them. It's their moment. If it's what happens, it's your moment if that's what happens. But yeah, that warmed my heart. It really did.
Well, Aesia, I'm so happy that we got to relive the Winter Olympics through your eyes. Thank you for bringing a piece of it home to share with us. You didn't buy us anything, but thank you for bringing us the memories
You ain't
home.
never gonna let me live that one down, child. Oh Lord.
But in all seriousness, thank you for coming on the show, sharing what you learned, what you saw, the highs, the lows. Thank you for just being who you are, an amazing host, reporter, anchor, all the above.
Thank you, you too.
And bringing that on the show.
I also do love that at WAVY, we really do have like a sisterhood too.
We do.
And that means a lot, because that's not the same for everywhere you go. So
It's not. We're glad to have you back.
That culture.
We're glad to have you back, and y'all be sure to tune in to this one over here. She's back midday and evening. So tune in. She's back.
Noon,
You don't have to miss her anymore.
5:30 and 6. I didn't go anywhere. Y'all are acting like I left WAVY. I'm still here.
She's here. She's back. Tune in. She's got to go right now, so we're done with this episode.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Bye.